most of the media ignores, if not actively buries. Here's a good example. Big story in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel this morning. Milwaukee has some of the fastest rising rents in the entire country. Guess what word is omitted from the story? If you would like to join today's foray into broadcast excellence, or at the very least, and far more likely, broadcast competence, the AdventKnows.com talk and text line is always open, 414-799-1130. You can also reach us toll-free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where you can watch the show streaming live. Also, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, and on our YouTube channel. Just search for Dan O'Donnell Show or Dan O'Donnell. Like and subscribe, as the kids are fond of saying, and join Dan Nation, our community of loyal viewers and listeners. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the program. Later this hour, of course, we name the unhinged liberal of the day. We will have the very latest on the growing anti-Semitic protests, not just on Columbia and Yale's campuses, not just on the University of Michigan, but they are spreading all across the country. I'd love to say I'm like Nostradamus for predicting this, but college liberals are notoriously good at following orders. And believe it or not, folks, these are orders. As Ian Miles Chong pointed out, these are totally spontaneous protests, with everyone owning the exact same tent at Columbia University. As always, these are funded by various left-wing groups, and we will get into that a little bit later on in the program. First, Spring Green Cash Contest. Word this hour, WIN, W-I-N, WIN. You have got a whole lot of time until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword WIN. 24 hours ago, we had a winner on this program. Matthew from Milwaukee was listening. His entry was picked at random. He won $1,000 in our Spring Green Cash Contest, and the next winner could be you. All you need to do is go to our website and enter the keyword WIN. Big story, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel published this morning. Milwaukee and Wisconsin saw some of the fastest rising rent prices in the U.S. this year. Between March 2023 and March 2024, the annual U.S. inflation rate was 3.5%, compared to the previous rate of 3.2% for the 12 months ending February 2024. This is far from the peak 9.1% inflation rate in June 2022, but rent prices still increased in every U.S. region but the West over the past year, according to data from Rent.com. In the Midwest, the region with the most modest rent prices in the country, median prices rose 5.3%. From $1,383 in March 2023 to $1,456 in March 2024. During this time, the median price nationwide went from $1,972 to $1,987. Midwestern states have seen the sharpest increases in rent prices this year. The region accounted for 7 of the 10 states that saw the highest percentage gains in median rent prices between March 2023 and March 2024. Both Milwaukee and Wisconsin have seen some of the nation's fastest rising rents over the past year. Here's how much prices have gone up. And then, of course, the story goes into just how much rents have gone up. But they don't really get into why, beyond that vague explainer that inflation is going up, but not nearly as bad as 9.1% in 2022. You see, the Biden administration has gotten inflation under control. But why Milwaukee in particular? Why is it Milwaukee has seen the fastest increase in rents, the highest increase in rents? There is one word that is omitted from that story that might actually explain a whole lot about it. It's a short word. You might miss it. It's just 3 letters, or, if you will, with the plural version of it, 5 letters. It's weird. Because it seems to me that this word would play a big factor in Milwaukee, especially since we've seen a whole lot of increases in them. Thomas, member of Dan Nation, watching on YouTube, has it right almost instantly. That word, of course, is taxes, or if you will, the three-letter version, T-A-X, tax. Nowhere in this story is it explained that because there has been a massive increase in taxes in Milwaukee, there has been a massive increase in rents. In fact, I was talking to one of my neighbors who owns a number of rental properties, a whole lot of units. That's how he's made his money in Milwaukee. He said, look, I sent out the notice about a month and a half ago saying to my renters, look, if this MPS referendum, $252 million passes, I'm going to have no choice but to dramatically increase your rents. It has nothing to do with me being a greedy landlord or anything like that. It has everything to do with the fact that I need to cover my expenses. So the word that's missing, weirdly enough, is taxes. And it's not just property taxes that Milwaukeeans are getting hammered by. Of course, Milwaukee instituted a brand new 2% sales tax that is largely being used to pay for massive raises for Mayor Cavalier Johnson and pretty much every member of the Common Council and every appointed position in the city of Milwaukee. It's nice work if you can get it, where you can plead poverty before the state legislature and say, we just need a little bit more cash to cover our underfunded pension liabilities. And then once the money is secured, okay, Milwaukee, okay, we're going to cover your rent. This is akin to your friend saying, I just need some money to get me through the end of the month. Please, they're going to evict me. I have to pay this money. I have to pay for my rent. I have to pay for my groceries. And then the next time you see them, they've got a giant sleeve tattoo. Sort of rubs you the wrong way, doesn't it? This is the governmental equivalent, but it's not just in the increase in taxes. The game that is always played is in tax assessments. In fact, my producer Dave just told me before the show started, he got his property tax assessment from the city of Milwaukee yesterday, and congratulations, Dave, you have yourself a very valuable house. My goodness, his property tax assessment went up $38,000, even though you didn't put in a giant backyard gazebo. Heck, for $38,000, you'd have to put in a backyard water slide. You didn't add a third story onto your home, did you? Nope. You didn't add a fourth story onto your home. Driveway wasn't redone, paved with, diamonds for a $38,000 increase in assessment? No, it was just increased so that you will have to pay more in property taxes. I got this email from a prominent restaurant owner in the city of Milwaukee. Dan, our property assessment at the restaurant doubled in 1 year. Doubled. We are already eating the 2.5% increase in restaurant sales taxes. Add the Milwaukee school taxes, that will skyrocket, and there is no way we can sustain staying in Milwaukee. After 50 years in business this year, we will need to make very tough decisions. This is truly ridiculous and completely unacceptable. Of course, these assessments also come out 2 weeks after the election. I have made no major improvements to the building except building an outdoor dining patio that was built in 2022. I don't know what else to do. How do the leaders of this city expect businesses to be able to afford this? That's a restaurant that's been in Milwaukee forever, literally 5 decades. I can tell you this, I want to protect the anonymity of this loyal listener somewhat, to say it's an iconic restaurant here in Milwaukee. They might have to close their doors because all of a sudden they're essentially going to have to pay double the rate they had been paying in property taxes. By the way, you can challenge your assessment and I don't have the website up right now. Just contact the city assessor's office, and that's what I would suggest this restaurant and producer Dave do, because there's no logical reason for the dramatic increase in property assessments. You can't tell me with a straight face, regardless of what Dave might be able to get for his house, that all of a sudden, with no major capital improvements, the assessed value of the property went up by that much. And certainly for a restaurant that just added a patio, they didn't add double the space of the restaurant, that their property taxes went up. So what is it that Milwaukeeans are paying for? Suffice it to say, the business community is a little ticked off at this, because I got an email yesterday from another business owner in Milwaukee whose anonymity I will also protect. He said, like all of you, and he wrote this to a number of his friends in the business community and forwarded this on to me because he did some fantastic research that he thought I might be interested in. He said, like all of you, I'm appalled by the financial fiasco at Milwaukee Public Schools. Why, with $1.3 billion, can't they or won't they educate fewer than $50,000? This is beyond me. What are they doing with all that money? And now they have the gall to request an additional $252 million more? I researched just the payroll part of their budget only for administrators. Here's what I learned through public records. The source is govsalaries.com. There are 137 program coordinators in Milwaukee Public Schools who make a combined $13.3 million. Now, I took this loyal listener's research one step further and I averaged this out. That is an average salary for 137 program coordinators of $97,000 per coordinator. Now, I don't know how many programs need coordinating in Milwaukee Public Schools, but 137 of them seems a tad excessive. There are 59 central office administrators who have a total salary of $7.2 million. On average, they make $122,000 per year. There are 6 directors of instructional program services at a total of $630,000. Each of those 6 makes an average of $105,000 just in salary. We're not talking about benefits. This is just salary per year. There are 4 subject coordinators. They make a total of $483,000 per year for an average of $120,000 per year. 2 directors, not 1 director of special ed services, but 2. They each make $135,000 per year for a total of $271,000 in just salary per year. 2 district administrators. It's a big district. You got to administrate it. You need 2 of them. $217,000. Each makes $108,000 per year. As my source notes, these are positions with no direct classroom contact. What do these positions actually do? Why are so many needed? The total for those 210 administrators, 210, is $22,111,201. Not a single one of them is in the classroom. Every single one of them appears to be nothing more than a bureaucrat collecting $100,000 plus salary, or in the case of the 137 program coordinators, a $97,000 salary. 210 positions. Think about that. 210. Think about your office and what you're able to do. We run 6 radio stations here at iHeartMedia Milwaukee. I guarantee we probably don't have half of that staff anymore. And yes, we are running millions and millions and millions of dollars through this place. We have an incredibly high-tech operation, at least most of the time. Most of the time, we can actually get our microphones and computers and printers working. We've got about a 75% success rate. But how exactly can you justify 210 bureaucrats? And then once you get $700+ million in federal COVID relief money, that, by the way, they are still spending. They are still getting COVID relief money until September. Those checks keep getting cashed from 4 years ago. 3 rounds of what are known as ESSER grants came flowing into the district. And this follows in 2020, them getting $87 million in referendum money exceeding revenue limits. Just like with the city of Milwaukee, where they get new tax revenue and then they immediately spend it on themselves, this is what's going on at MPS, because this is what always goes on with government largesse. The money flows to them, either for better facilities or in inflated salaries and benefits. Where's the tangible benefit to kids? It's non-existent. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Speaking of school districts, why is it my own alma mater cannot stop being dysfunctional? We'll get to that next.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. Are you still on the fence about owning gold? It's time to pull the trigger with the Oxford Gold Group and buy gold and silver. Nobody can predict the future, but we can't put our head in the sand either. The Oxford Gold Group are the pros. They make owning gold and silver simple and easy to understand. Call Oxford Gold Group right now and you may qualify for up to $10,000 in free precious metals. Call 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD.
Biz Expo is May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn from the experts at the strategy seminars and keynote on building a legendary brand. Connect with business leaders and customers at Biz Expo May 22nd. Register at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
We're throwing a party, and you get the presents. Hi, this is Terry Ludwig, owner of All American Window & Door. Our 39th anniversary is an event you don't want to miss. It's a celebration of passion, commitment, and you. Our 39th anniversary also means prizes, surprises, and savings that take the cake. Join us for great deals. Party this week at All American Window & Door on Mequon Road in Germantown. 262-255-7170. Estimates are free.
He has more energy and sleeps better. And his wife told him he no longer snores. John's decision to come to Advent changed his life. We can help change your life, too.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
The next generation is here. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
And we go out to the phones. Let's talk with Eric in West Dallas. It's apparently not just Milwaukee where property assessments have gone up. And yes, I should point out a number of listeners have texted in saying, look, just because assessments go up, that doesn't necessarily mean that your property taxes will go up. Wink, wink. Of course, the taxes are going to go up, but that is true. Just because the assessed value of the property doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to pay more in taxes. Producer Dave lives in the city of Milwaukee. How much you want to bet your taxes are going to go up? By a lot this year. You'll say 10%. I think that's actually probably on the low end. I was actually going to say 10 to 15% would probably, right, and that's on top of everything else. You go down to the corner store, you're paying an extra 2% sales tax, more than that because of the county's assessment, the wheel tax, yes. Let's go to Eric in West Dallas. Your assessment came in high as well, correct?
Oh, man, it's absolutely insane. We're talking like 68% difference.
68%? What's that in total dollars?
$95,000.
No way.
I live in a pretty modest ranch, you know. And,
did you put in a theme park at any point in the last year? Do you have like Neverland on your property now, Eric?
I kind of feel like I should.
At least get your money's worth, right?
I need something for this. I got to get a swimming pool or I don't know. But I was talking to my neighbors last night. It wasn't just me that got hit with these values. My neighbor across the street, his went up 80%.
80%.
It's crazy. I don't know where they're getting these numbers from. You know?
I can tell you where they're getting these numbers from. Well, a part of it, Eric, I will say, is because properties have increased. All tangible, everything. This is part and parcel of inflation. And also because of the higher interest rates, you've got people who want to sell, but people who don't necessarily want to buy because they're locked in at 2.5-3% mortgage rates. Why would you want to get out of that for probably a more expensive property, right? You usually sell and buy a more expensive property because, you know, your life circumstances have changed. You got another kid, you need another bedroom, that sort of thing. Why would you want to add that expense onto 7.5% or whatever mortgage rates are right now? So because of the scarcity principle, there's just not a whole lot of properties available. That's a big reason. I will admit that is a big reason. But another one is you have got governments all across the country that are suddenly finding themselves without all of the COVID cash that was just flowing over the past couple of years. And, oh, whoops, now we've got to make up for a whole lot of financial sins. It's remarkable, and thank you so much for the phone call, Eric. It's remarkable how poor at financial planning typically Democrat governments are. Now, I'm not going to give Republican governments or more conservatively run communities a pass too, because everybody was sort of suckling at that COVID relief fund teat for several years. And now that it's starting to dry up, oh my goodness, we got to figure out some way to pay for all of our essentially deficit spending because that COVID money wasn't going to last forever. We saw this at the state level, where Governor Evers was demanding more and more and more and more money for K-12 education, more and more and more shared revenue. Well, he's basing this on the faulty assumption that the COVID money is just going to come in forever, and it's not. And we see the big, big problems with budgeting when it does stop. It's incredible how many people, especially in a big city like Milwaukee, don't understand what's actually going on. That you're funding people like what number was it? 210 bureaucrats in Milwaukee public schools to the tune of $22 million. $22 million. Every single year, just in salaries. Never mind benefits, and those benefits are very lucrative. Every single year. You're paying more for your elected and appointed officials. You're paying more for pretty much every bureaucrat in City Hall because as soon as they get the tax money, they fritter it away, often on themselves. This is the worst of government, and unfortunately, it's become more and more prevalent. All right, my alma mater, the Whitnall School Board, continues to have some, shall we say, issues getting along. We'll get to that story next.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services, and I'm so proud to be a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, a Christian, and an American. My wife Amy and I did our best to educate our children about our reasons for embracing traditional values. Recently, Amy and I became empty nesters, and now our young adults are in the real world with the American dream in their heads, their hearts, and soon it will be in their hands to share with others. God is good. Marriage and children are a blessing. Capitalism works, and America is grand. She is rich with beautiful places to explore. She's a melting pot of beautiful people. Diverse? Yes. But we are still blessed to have so much in common. Ignore the politicians and the media who sow seeds of hate. Let's embrace the wonders of life, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness in America. Join me in discovering the wonders of nature and the wonders of America.
As Milwaukee welcomes the Republican National Convention, we're going to need all hands on deck to put Milwaukee's best foot forward. The MKE 2024 Host Committee is looking for thousands of volunteers to help welcome guests to Milwaukee, and they need your help. To learn more, dial pound 250 on your phone and say volunteer. Again, that's pound 250, keyword volunteer. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from iHeartMedia. Paid for by the MKE 2024 Host Committee.
Well, that's why you have to check out our website. We're pretty proud of our before and after photos because they show off just how good we really are. I can confidently say that whatever you bring us, we're going to use every bit of magic we have to turn it into a one-of-a-kind work of art. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY, finishing.com. If it's worth restoring, we're going to tell you. If it's not worth the cost of restoring, then we're going to give you an honest answer. You don't stay in the furniture finishing business for nearly 50 years unless you're honest and talented. Luckily, we're both, and that means all of your expectations will be met. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Hey, NBA fans, playoff action is heating up, and so too is the action on Pick 6, the newest real money fantasy app from DraftKings, which is, of course, an official partner of the NBA. Here's how Pick 6 works. All you do is pick if a player is going to have more or less of a stat. For example, is he going to have more or less than 15 points, more or less than 10 rebounds? Pick your favorite players and compete for huge, and I mean huge, cash prizes. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and get started with code WISN. New customers can get up to $200 back in Pick 6 credits if your first pick set loses. Only on Pick 6 from DraftKings with code WISN. The crown is yours. One offer per new customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $200 equal to amount of negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits valid for Pick 6 use only. Expire after 180 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states. Age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Pick 6 not available in all states. For up-to-date list of states, visit dkng.co/pick6states. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SECURE to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text SECURE to 989898. That's SECURE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Graham Class, host of Technically Speaking, an Intel podcast. Join me for Season 2 as we explore the future of technology evolving today. In each episode, I'll speak with the minds transforming medicine, healthcare, retail, entertainment, personal computing, and more with the help of AI. Join me every other Tuesday and explore the latest technology changing our world today and creating a more accessible tomorrow. Listen to Technically Speaking, an Intel podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. A tour de force of truth and the only talk radio show in Wisconsin officially endorsed by one Donald J. Trump, former president / criminal defendant.
Your show is a very important show, and it's a great show, and we appreciate it.
Last year, you might recall that we reported extensively on one of the most bizarre situations I've ever seen at any school board ever in all my years of covering local government. It just so happened to occur at my alma mater, the Whitnall School District. In the interest of full disclosure, I graduated from Whitnall High School in 2019. 1999. And I loved my time there. I am a proud Whitnall alum. In fact, a lot of my best friends today are still my best friends, or my best friends back then are still my best friends today. Had a great time. I was in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and one of our buddies who has since moved to Arizona drove down with another one of my high school buddies. I, of course, met my wife at Whitnall High School. I mean, you didn't know that. No, we did not start dating in high school. We started dating later in college, but we were friends for, I think I met her my junior year, her sophomore year. And I'm sure she is a year younger than me. Yeah. She's class of 2020. Producer Dave threw me. He goes, so she's class of 2020. Yeah, right. She didn't get to go to her graduation ceremony because of COVID. Very sad. Very, very sad. No, she was class of 2000. Although now I'm going to get the angry text for a backhanded way of revealing her age. Yeah, okay. So last year, a former secretary who worked for the then superintendent, Whitnall School District, accepted the resignation of the former superintendent, a woman by the name of Lisa Olson, and just hired a new one, a guy by the name of Dr. Brady Reinke, a couple of weeks ago to replace Olson. And Olson's secretary, who also served as the board secretary, immediately after the school board elections last April, so April of 2023, actually rigged the election by pretending that one of the votes for Jason Craig was actually for another board member, for board president Kevin Stachowiak. Nobody on the board knew what she was up to. Stachowiak had no idea. He was actually just as surprised as anybody. I believe Stachowiak has retired. He's no longer on the board. Eventually, this was found out. The secretary was criminally charged. She was, of course, fired immediately. And it was just a bizarre situation all the way around. And I thought immediately after this happened, I was contacted by Jason Craig because I was speculating on the air. Look, nobody could be this stupid. There are a grand total of 7 votes. Pretty darn easy to figure out if this election was rigged. And I said, okay, maybe it was Jason Craig, who served as board president, for the past year. Maybe he didn't want the added responsibility. He said, no, Dan, I absolutely did vote for myself. I can promise you that. And I said, well, then there's really no other explanation other than somebody rigged this vote. Sure enough, somebody did. Just when I thought that we could be a little more, shall we say, professional in the Whitnall School Board's dealings, we came to the vote for school board president last night. It was again contentious. Fortunately, there was no vote rigging, but there was, according to one of the members, woman by the name of Rachel Scherer, who I believe was elected last year. She said she was subjected to a harassment campaign to vote for the right candidate for school board president.
Yesterday, I was bombarded with phone calls, texts, Facebook messages, some from board members and others not, regarding the board officer elections that were held tonight. I perceived some of these messages to be both threatening and attempts at intimidation and control, especially after the harassment I've received both personally and professionally this year.
All right, so much for holding a normal school board president election at Whitnall. Who was harassing her? Eventually, Cassie Rayner was elected school board president last night. Now, Scherer never said in her statement last night to the board, but one of the board members, a man by the name of Quinn Brunette, came up afterwards and said he was very offended that she was allowed to make this statement. And he wanted to give his own statement. So who do you suppose was very likely harassing Miss Scherer? The guy who got real defensive about it. In fact, I can report Scherer has been sharing on social media that not only was it Quinn Brunette who was pressuring her to vote for Jesse Stahowiak, Kevin Stahowiak, the former president's brother, who's still on. Yeah, this is small town politics, buddy. Producer Dave's head is exploding in there. This is how we roll in small community school boards. It's this guy's brother, and this guy works for this guy, and this guy's kid plays baseball with this gal and her son. And yeah, this is how it works. This is why I love it. Apparently, one of the people sending the harassing text messages was the candidate for Wisconsin Assembly in that district, a woman by the name of Luann Byrd. To the surprise of nobody, Luann is a liberal Democrat. She is running against Bob Donovan apparently again. She ran against Donovan in 2022. After redistricting, Donovan is running in a new district. Byrd's going to challenge him there too. Now, where this gets even more interesting is Luann Byrd has been floating the idea that the Whitnall School Board and its more conservative faction has been holding what are known as walking quora or walking quorums. And that is where board decisions are made by people outside of the public setting. A walking quorum is where you get a private group of board members, a quorum, people necessary to make a decision. You all decide in private, hey, we're going to do this at the public meeting. It's not legal. She was alleging that the conservatives had a walking quorum to decide matters outside of the school board. She was raising holy hell and even went to Wisconsin Public Radio, which ran a story on this about a week or so ago. Luann Byrd has apparently behind the scenes been harassing Rachel Scherer to vote the right way. Now, I don't know about you, but Luann Byrd, I think, presents herself in public and in politics as a kindly older. This is like the Livia Soprano of Hale's Corners. How about that for a reference, producer Dave? She is like the left-wing mob boss behind the scenes, threatening to send Uncle Junior and his goon squad after Rachel Scherer to kneecap her if she doesn't vote the right way for Whitnall School Board president. I told you small town politics is fun, right? Admittedly, it's way more fun when it's your own alma mater and you can kind of laugh. Also, full disclosure, I do still, rather obviously, have ties to the Whitnall community. I do have friends whose kids are now there. And I will say this, also in full disclosure, Whitnall really is, in spite of the obvious dysfunction of the school board, it is a wonderful school. It is a wonderful community. Whithouse for life, baby. Coming up next, we will name the unhinged liberal of the day. Much, much more here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
More of the Dan O'Donnell Show
is next.
Hey guys, welcome to the Home Box Stop. Ready for those new kitchen cabinets and countertops? Okay, well, let's get you guys going. Inches, centimeters, inches, right?
Right.
Is this your first time? Oh, no. Been here for years. Actually, in light bulbs. I'm covering for Karen. She took the week off. 1 sec. No worries. The computer does all the work.
Customer assistance to light bulbs.
Oh, that's me, BRB.
Yeah,
let's go.
Granite Plus?
Hurry, here she comes.
Hi, I'm Laz with Granite Plus. Countertops and cabinets is what we do. As a meticulously detailed local fabricator, say goodbye to the middleman and upgrade your home with real factory direct savings. Homeowners, flippers, contractors, why would you pay more? Go to graniteplususa.com, that's graniteplususa.com, or visit any of our Milwaukee area showrooms and start saving today.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at greatmidwestbank.com.
Jay Weber here, someone who knows firsthand how debilitating spine and back problems can be and who knows where to turn to get the highest level of spine care. The team of board-certified physicians and surgeons at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com, orthowisconsin.com. Ortho Wisconsin has treatment plans that can get you back to an active lifestyle and through the least invasive method possible. They take a multifaceted approach that allows them to use a variety of treatment options and find the best for you. Dr. Michael Nolte is their newest spine surgeon, and he and his colleagues are nationally recognized clinicians dedicated to enhancing quality of care for patients looking to restore and recover spinal function. Pain managing procedures are done at Ortho Wisconsin's Ambulatory Surgery Center in Milwaukee and at their Brookfield Clinic, and the more conservative treatments, like physical therapy, are offered at their new Berlin location as well. Find more info at orthowisconsin.com. In fact, if you have any shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain, check out orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Why is abbreviation such a long word?
That, my friend, is one of life's unanswerable questions.
I mean, you'd think someone could make it shorter.
Oh, you mean like instead of saying buy one, get one, you can just say BOGO.
Yeah, kinda.
Through Monday at Hasselus Mattress, buy a new Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper, or Beauty Rest mattress, and we'll give you a free box spring or an equal amount off an adjustable base.
Or, in other words,
BOGO.
Right.
Plus, free next day delivery and employee-free showrooms.
You mean I don't have to deal with pushy salespeople?
No.
So I can try out all the mattresses
solo.
And through Monday, I can
BOGO.
You're a man of few words. I like that.
Buy a new Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper and get a free box spring or an equal amount off an adjustable base. Now through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Find a self-service showroom near you or shop online at hasselus.com.
April is showing just what spring weather means here in Wisconsin, and it's proving why this month is the month to call Window Nation to talk about your windows. Hey, I'm Benjamin Yount, and I want to talk to you about the experts at Window Nation. Window Nation only uses the top-of-the-line materials in their windows. That includes mold spray and Quad Max sealant. That's the toughest against all weather conditions, and Window Nation pros can generally install them in a day or less. Call right now. Get in on Window Nation's buy two, get two free deal. Window Nation, 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
Does your basement have a musty smell and you think that's just how basements are supposed to smell? Wrong. Buck here with Buck Buckley's Total Basement Finishing. Did you know that musty basement smell is in fact mold growing somewhere in your basement and you're breathing in mold spores? That's unhealthy. You need to finish your basement using our mold-proof and waterproof materials. Call or visit Buck Buckley's TotalBasementFinishing.com today. Financing is available. We'll take you from basement to beautiful.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss even when you monitor your credit. If your identity's stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% their first year with my name Clay as the promo code at LifeLock.com.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Welcome back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming up next hour, the latest from the Donald Trump show trial. Day 2 of testimony expected to continue with David Pecker, the unfortunately named publisher, perhaps former publisher. I'm not exactly sure if he sold the National Enquirer. This, of course, the Stormy Daniels hush money case, which is actually about falsification of business records in a case that legally has no merit. Also, Columbia, Yale, Michigan, Rice University in Houston, Cal Polytechnic, all sorts of schools having protest camps. A lot of the students, at least on Columbia, all weirdly enough bought the exact same tent. Can you believe that for an organic protest? These are anti-Semitic, pro-Hamas, and make no mistake, these are absolutely pro-Hamas protests popping up all over the place, which brings us to the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Do you know, all told, at Columbia University, it can cost upwards of $97,000 per year to attend? Room and board, tuition. No, that includes room and board, producer Dave. Yeah, it does. Tuition is like $70,000 minimum. Now, there's, obviously some aid packages available. And did you know Columbia University has a 4% acceptance rate? What you're seeing is the creme de la creme of American academia behaving like a bunch of anti-Semitic goons, such as this professor who got on the bullhorn yesterday to squeal about, quote, bleeping up her employer, Columbia University.
Pledge to do whatever you can to not work, not go to class, not do research, or otherwise up the functioning of this despicable place until they meet our demand. You all are incredibly smart people who are so knowledgeable about things like post-colonialism and Marxism and other theories. It is time for you to get out of your libraries and labs and put your theories into action and stand with them.
Now, that's not a student. That is apparently a teacher. I don't have a name, unfortunately. I am led to believe it is a grad student and student teacher because she does appear to be very young, very Marxist, and very stupid. She is your unhinged liberal of the day. This is giving off major Google employee vibes. Where did you see all those Google employees? They sat in at their boss's office and they were chanting, "Google, Google, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide." They were demanding that Google cease all operations in Israel, that Google basically enables genocide, and they're demanding that they stop it. Well, it turns out that as woke a company as Google is, they don't like being accused of genocide, and all of those employees were fired. What do you want to bet the same thing happens to this teacher? Although it is academia, and there are different rules that apply. Academia sort of exists outside the normal function of society. College campuses for better than 50 years now have been hotbeds of, I'm not even going to call it radicalism. I'm going to call it socialized craziness. That this is learned psychopathy. This is just absolutely pathological. And what they're all doing, they're all cosplaying as 1960s revolutionaries. The Abercrombie Intifada is what a lot of people are calling it. I mean, these are upper class children of wealthy parents who are shelling out $100,000 for them to be indoctrinated into cultural Marxist thought, into this idea that somehow the world is full of injustice and the only perpetrators have said injustice. Meanwhile, slavery is literally still going on in parts of the world, in Africa, in China. Now, we're not fighting against that injustice. We're fighting against the settler colonialism of Israel, of the Jewish people, who have had an ancestral claim to the land we call Israel for 5,000 years. They're the settler colonialists, huh? They're the oppressors. They're the ones committing genocide, even though the population of Gaza has doubled in the last 25 years. Oh, well, now they've finally gotten around to genocide. These are people who are actively cheering on terrorists, who believe that terrorism itself is a form of protest. Now, you think I'm making that up? Do you know who shared that opinion literally 2 months after 9/11? The now president of Columbia University. This is institutionalized rot. These are people who believe things that just a generation ago, hell, just a decade ago, would have been confined to the fringes of even campus thought. But now we have brought all of these ideas of of noble anti-Semitism. And these people truly believe that they're noble. These people truly believe that they're striking at the heart of evil by chanting "Death to America" and burning American flags inside America, reaping all of the benefits and privileges of the most upper crust of American society. Oh, woe is them, these poor Old Navy jihadists. Yesterday on the Belling Show, we had a laundry list of groups at the University of Michigan who are part of the protest campus there. And some of them are truly hysterical. You almost wonder, where are all of these groups funded? Where do all of these people come from? How is it that what we would view as objectively craziness gets so mainstreamed, takes such hold? We'll discuss all of that coming up after the news here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. In Milwaukee County Court yesterday, Maxwell Anderson pleads not guilty to charges of killing and dismembering Sade Robinson. Court Commissioner Barry Phillips granted Anderson's request to waive his preliminary hearing and proceed to trial. Yesterday's court appearance was Anderson's first since body parts were found along Lake Michigan last week. He was arrested 2 days after someone found Robinson's leg at a park in Cudahy April 2nd. Prosecutors say the 19-year-old Robinson was killed sometime after the two went on a first date the night before. A motive remains unclear. In the face of claims from former President Donald Trump, Governor Tony Evers isn't ruling out stepped-up security for Wisconsin Elections Administrator Megan Wolf. Evers had already added security for Wolf before Trump recently accused her of trying to steal the upcoming election.
It's just irrational. At some point in time, maybe there's something we can do, but as you can see, he's protected by that First Amendment that we all love.
Evers doesn't rule out the Wisconsin Department of Justice providing more security for Wolf. The Senate is poised to vote today to advance the $95 billion aid package to provide critical aid to Ukraine and a provision that could lead to a nationwide ban on TikTok. The package, which passed the House Saturday, includes $60 billion in aid to Ukraine, $26 billion in aid to Israel and humanitarian relief in Gaza, and $8 billion for security in Taiwan. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, Game 2 of the Bucks' first-round playoff series with Indiana happens tonight at the Fiserv Forum. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Ahlin on Wisconsin's most listened-to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Spring is in the air, and the deals are heating up at Lynch. Get this, Lynch has over 800 new vehicles on the ground ready for immediate delivery. Spring into savings with huge rebates and financing starting as low as 0%. Lynch has new Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, Rams, Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Fords. On top of their fantastic new car selection, they have a huge inventory of pre-owned vehicles that come with the Lynch Protected Peace of Mind, a 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty, and Lynch certification that includes a 168-point inspection, plus a 10-day, 500-mile satisfaction guarantee exchange policy. The Lynch family of dealerships truly has your back whether you're shopping for a new or used car. Huge spring savings event going on now at all Lynch locations, or check them out 24 hours a day at shoplynch.com.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies this Tuesday. It will be windy and warm with high temperatures reaching the upper 60s, maybe even 70 degrees. Southwesterly winds gusting near 30 miles an hour. We'll have some chances of showers and thunderstorms developing this afternoon. A few could have gusty winds and small hail. Fox 6 meteorologist Lisa Michaels.
This report is sponsored by WeBuyAnyCar.com. Before you sell or trade in, find out how much your car is worth at WeBuyAnyCar.com. They make selling your car fast, safe, and fair. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
You live with teeth in need of substantial restoration long enough. Even teeth in need of substantial restoration can be restored in one visit with Ross Dental Cyric Restoration Mill, New Berlin and Waukesha. Smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
I'm Dan Small. Join me and Jeff Kelm for Outdoors Radio, Saturday mornings at 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Brought to you by the Range of Richfield, the ultimate shooting experience on Helson Drive in Richfield and online at therangewi.com.
This is a unique place, and there aren't many businesses around like us. We're locally owned, but we've been known to do business on a nationwide scale. We're a retail business, but we're also a distributor. We sell the finest windows and doors and install them all with Craftsman detail. But we also carry the widest selection of replacement parts you can find and are happy to give you valuable advice, so you actually don't have to buy new replacement windows or doors just yet. Like I said, we are different, and that's good. In fact, it's great for you, and it's been great for thousands of our customers who rely on us year in and year out for the best products and industry expertise you just can't find everywhere. This is David Wilhelm. For the highest quality replacement windows and doors and a massive selection of the parts you need to make them last, your clear choice for more is Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Find us at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
It was a doozy, all right. Apparently, things got a little out of hand, as evidenced by the job description.
Repair heel marks on conference table.
You get the picture. Office party, a few too many drinks, and a gal who felt compelled to use the top of the conference table as a dance floor. And as you expected, we showed up on site and made that tabletop as good as new. By golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY Finishing.com. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MalaliFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Malali. Malali Furniture Finishing and Repair, serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY Finishing.com.
A place where freedom of speech and freedom of thought live on. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss even when you monitor your credit. If your identity's stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% their first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at LifeLock.com.
Committed to covering the important stories and issues that the rest of the media won't touch. This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It's the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth, and of course, the only talk radio show in Wisconsin, officially endorsed by one Donald John Trump.
Your show is a very important show, and it's a great show, and we appreciate it.
Welcome back to it. If you'd like to join it, the AdventNows.com talk and text line is open, as it always is, 414-799-1130. You can also reach us 1-800-838-9476. Email me, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where you can watch the show streaming live, as well as on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. We do have one humble request. Please do retweet the live broadcast on X. Please do share it on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video and subscribe to our live stream. Sign up for alerts each and every day. We broadcast live via the Dano Cam. Yeah, I think our unhinged liberal of the day today bears repeating. This is a teacher at Columbia University.
Pledge to do whatever you can to not work, not go to class, not do research, or otherwise up the functioning of this despicable place until they meet our demands. You all are incredibly smart people who are so knowledgeable about things like post-colonialism and Marxism and other theories. It is time for you to get out of your libraries and labs and put your theories into action and stand with them.
I actually agree with her, believe it or not. I am all in favor of those people getting out of the libraries, taking to the streets, and letting the entire country see just who they are. I am really, really in favor of bleeping up all Ivy League schools. We are seeing protests now at all 5 of America's quote-unquote top universities. We are seeing them spreading to campuses across the nation. No real surprise there. But why is it that Democrats can't bring themselves to condemn the obvious anti-Semitism? Why is it that President Biden seemed to have his own very fine people on both sides moment yesterday? Take a listen to this. He was asked following his Earth Day speech featuring one AOC, where he said, one thing I've learned is to listen to that young lady. You got to listen to AOC. She knows the score. Okay. Afterwards, he was asked about the anti-Semitism on campus.
You condemn the anti-Semitic protests on college campuses.
I condemn the anti-Semitic protests. That's why I've set up a program to deal with that. I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians and how they're being.
Should the Columbia University president resign?
Right this way. I didn't know that. I'll have to find out more about it.
Yes, actually, she should resign, if only for expressing obvious sympathy with terrorists. And she has for, at minimum, 23 years. In November of 2001, this was old video provided by the Daily Wire, which dug this up. Minoche Shafiq said, look, terrorism is really just a form of protest that happens to be really, really, really violent.
You'll always have individuals who will have extreme views. But what's really troubling in the region is that there's actually quite a broad base of society which has some sympathy for the terrorists. Not so much because they approve of their methods, but it's a form of protesting against a system which is not delivering for them on the economic or the political front.
Now, you could make the case that she was actually condemning this idea, saying it's really unfortunate that for people in the region, they see this as a form of protest when it clearly isn't. But she is allowing this sort of protest to go on. Latest today, Columbia University has allowed for hybrid learning for the rest of the semester because they simply can't protect Jewish students. In fact, one professor, Shai Davidai, I apologize, I don't quite know the pronunciation of his name, was actually denied access to campus. Not because he did anything wrong, but because he's been very vocal against these anti-Semitic rallies, this anti-Semitic camp that literally had, before it was cleared out last week, do you realize they had paragliders as part of their demonstration, as part of their setup? Paragliders. The exact same that were used to fly into Israel and slaughter hundreds of innocent people at a music festival on October 7th. That's despicable. But it was there. And instead of immediately shutting down the entire thing, they said to this guy, who is Jewish, you can't come onto campus because we can't protect you. You need to go home. You have any idea how ridiculous that is, and frankly, how terrifying that is? Before we go any further, Spring Green Cash Contest, word this hour, bank, B-A-N-K, bank. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword bank. If your entry this hour is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in the bank, B-A-N-K. Get to it right now. You've got until 55 past this hour to do so. Have you heard any strong condemnations of these protests coming from any prominent Democrats? Chuck Schumer, who is Jewish, he said anything about this? It's in his state, Columbia. This is the epicenter of this. Did he take to the floor of the U.S. Senate like he did after Charlottesville in 2017? This is, folks, well worse than Charlottesville. And I know a woman died. There was a car that plowed into the protesters. It is only by the grace of God that nobody hasn't been seriously hurt by now. You had a bunch of sleazebag incels marching around with tiki torches for a day. College campuses, now numbering more than a dozen, are being taken over. You can't have learning at one of America's most prestigious universities because the school is allowing the campus to be an unsafe place for Jewish people. To the point where Jewish people can't go anywhere near this protest camp because they're just protesting against Israel and Israel's worship. Oh, okay. So some random Jewish sophomore who works as a Starbucks barista is responsible for the genocide in the Gaza Strip. Okay, if you say so. There are exactly 2 Democrats I have heard forcefully condemn this. And one of them is my new Democrat hero. I will admit fully, ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong about Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman. Now, it should be noted that Fetterman suffered a severe stroke, which badly damaged his ability to speak. He has since regained it. He apparently never lost any brain function or anything like that, but he was last year treated for a couple of months for severe depression. As a result, you can sort of understand this, right? I mean, imagine, especially in my line of work, I couldn't imagine if I wouldn't be able to express myself, if the words just wouldn't come. It would be incredibly difficult. So he's treated inpatient for depression. He immediately comes out and starts speaking like Ben Shapiro, for goodness sakes. Proving once again that if you treat mental illness, you will become more conservative. That liberalism, as Michael Savage famously said 20 years ago, really might be a mental disorder. Here's Fetterman on these protests.
It's completely reasonable to want a ceasefire or to have a different view on that. Absolutely, that's a democracy. But it is not appropriate or legal, or it's helpful to advance your argument if you show up in a Starbucks with a bullhorn and start yelling at people, and that doesn't make you noble, it just makes you an asshole. It's very American to protest and to do that in the appropriate way. Then I absolutely support that. I'm not suggesting that you have to agree with my view, but it's just saying it doesn't really allow you to disrupt lives and to inflict those kinds of damages on people that are just trying to get on with their lives.
Amen, Senator Fetterman. I'm telling you, guy comes out of mental health treatment and he makes perfect sense. You treat mental health. In fact, you know what? Maybe the libs are actually right about defunding the police. No, hear me out. Instead of deploying police officers or what they want, social workers, let's say we deploy hundreds of clinical psychologists and psychiatrists who have the ability to prescribe antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication. And we just deploy them to these protest camps. Give it 2 weeks, wait for the drugs to kick in, wait for a couple of sessions of therapy. We can set up their own little therapy tents. I guarantee you those kids come out saying taxation is theft. Trump 2024. I'm telling you, you treat the mental illness, you treat the liberalism. Now, there is another Democrat who he understands what this is about. He is also Jewish, like Fetterman. And he says, look, what we are seeing is true intimidation. There's something called Godwin's law in public discourse, that it was every argument at some point will devolve into comparisons to Adolf Hitler. It's known as Godwin's law. That no matter what, someone is going to call somebody else Hitler, or somebody is going to make some comparison to the Nazis. Folks, they are barring Jewish students from entering the Columbia University campus. Shades of the University of Vienna in the 1930s. This literally is that same vein of just deep, deep hatred for Jewish people. And Moskowitz, who's a Democrat from Florida, recognizes it. Here he is, about 90 seconds, but you need to hear all of this to hear this man's message.
Jewish parents are asking this question because I talk to them whose students go to Columbia. The question they're asking is, they feel that if this was a minority group, a protected minority group, which Jews are not, they don't think that this would have gotten past lunchtime on the first day. But for Jews, because we don't fit in this box, even though there's only 15 million of us, in the country, at the end of the day, we're looked at as differently. And that's why universities have struggled with this. Because yes, while there is protected speech, free speech, hate speech is not protected. And we are well into the realm of hate speech.
He is wrong, of course. Hate speech actually is protected, but as a First Amendment issue, You are legally protected from saying something like, I hate white people. You are not, however, protected from consequences for said speech.
Right? I mean, let's just look at what's happening. We were mad years ago when we saw Charlottesville and Jews will not replace us, and Donald Trump saying good people on both sides, or Mexicans are rapists, right? But somehow we don't have the same anger of go back to Poland. My grandfather's entire family was killed in Poland. He was the sole survivor, right? All Zionists should be killed. Bomb Tel Aviv. I know the people saying this aren't, white Aryan males with tiki torches, but they have the same message. These students that are participating in this, and it's not all of them, but the students that are allowing this to go on with the Hamas flags, letting these people onto campus, the professors that are participating in this, it's the same message, which is Jews are not welcome.
He's right. Imagine if this was a protest against, say, instead of Jewish occupation of the Palestinian territories, how about black criminality in New York's inner cities? How about the disproportionate number of criminals in New York who are African American? And they were literally saying, no blacks are allowed in our safe protest space. Every single one of those kids would not just be suspended, they'd be kicked out of school. They would absolutely lose any scholarship they had. And you know what? They would be blacklisted from employment in good Northeastern liberal circles. Every single one of these Columbia kids who would want to go work at a hedge fund afterwards, no way they'd be able to do that. But when you express extremely vile, anti-Semitic language, we just sort of accept it because they're protesting colonialism. We're protesting genocide. We'll do a little fact check of that when we come back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. It is conservative thought, not just talk. Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, the best decision after a collision. And you hear me talking all the time about how great Mander is, but here's customer Amber, who writes, the quality of customer service at Mander in Muskego has far exceeded my expectations. After being involved in an accident, not my fault, and having experienced some significant difficulties communicating with the individual that hit me, Mander went above and beyond to ensure my needs were being met. I have never felt so confident and secure as a customer. The staff truly has their customers' best interests at heart and shows it through their actions. Thank you, Mander, for alleviating my stress through an undesirable chain of events. Thanks so much for sharing your experience, Amber, because that's yet another reason why I recommend Mander so highly. Now with 6 locations to serve you, Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellenbecker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Nick from Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer, and we'll buy your home as is in cash in as little as 1 week. You heard that right, as is in 1 week. We're a local family business that pays cash for properties as is. Just visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com to learn more.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. Are you still on the fence about owning gold? It's time to pull the trigger with the Oxford Gold Group and buy gold and silver. Nobody can predict the future, but we can't put our head in the sand either. The Oxford Gold Group are the pros. They make owning gold and silver simple and easy to understand. Call Oxford Gold Group right now and you may qualify for up to $10,000 in free precious metals. Call 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss even when you monitor your credit. If your identity's stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% their first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at LifeLock.com.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like One Hit Wonders Radio. The greatest one-hit wonders of all time.
I don't mind the sun sometimes.
Ones you definitely remember.
I smell sex and candy.
And ones that'll make you say, oh yeah. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search One Hit Wonders, and listen now, commercial-free. Free never sounded so good.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Seems to be a real blind spot in the left's crusade against hate speech for blatant anti-Semitism. And that's what this is. Please make no mistake. This is not a protest against Zionism. It is not a protest against Israel's actions in Gaza. It is a protest against Jewishness at its core. It is a protest against Jewish people. And I don't even think it is a protest. I think it is a movement. I think it is a violent pro-Hamas. Remember, folks, when was the very first pro-Palestine demonstration? Think all the way back to October 7th of last year. 1,200 Jewish people. We thought the number was as high as 1,500, possibly 1,600. It was Saturday, October 7th. And Hamas fighters in paragliders flew over the border wall. They stormed into Israeli land, and they killed innocent people by the hundreds, slaughtering them, raping women, executing children, torturing people, taking hostages back to Palestinian territories to cheering crowds. When was the very first protest? The next day, Sunday, October 8th, also in New York. Israel couldn't even fathom a military response by then. They were in shock. They were grieving with the rest of the world. They were processing the horrors that were being broadcast via the phones. The terrorists themselves were seizing the phones of their victims to send video messages to loved ones, taunting them that they were about to murder or had just murdered their mom, their dad, their grandparents. Didn't matter. It's one of the most horrific, barbaric assaults on humanity in the last 100 years, if not ever. I mean, this was wholesale slaughter of innocents. And the very next day, you had people in New York, the epicenter of these pro-Hamas protests on Columbia University's campuses today, protesting against Israel, protesting in support of the Palestinians. How could you interpret that any other way that this was the support of the slaughter of innocent Jewish people? I can guarantee you not a single one of the people at that concert had any policy-making authority in the Netanyahu government. These are teenagers and 20-somethings enjoying a rave. And you had left-wingers in the United States, aided by, frankly, terror-supporting Muslim Americans who are celebrating it. And that celebration, that support of pure evil, because that evil was directed at people we all hate, the Jews, which is apparently now totally acceptable in America today. No Democrat has been. You don't have Manu Raju, the CNN reporter, with his little microphone chasing down every Republican every time Donald Trump says, do you agree with this? Do you support what the president said? Do we have support amongst the Democratic Party, amongst prominent Democrats for this anti-Semitism? You had the president of the United States, because he is deathly afraid of losing Michigan, saying we have very fine people on both sides. Yes, I condemn the anti-Semitism, but I also condemn everybody who doesn't understand how bad things are in Palestine. Are you kidding me? You know who had something to say about all of this? Former President Trump before his trial resumed this morning. We will hear from the former president all 3 minutes. I have made a pledge. If this is going to be the only campaigning he's going to be allowed to do, we're going to air every second of it.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And you know, there's more to being a local Wisconsin bank than perfectly pronouncing Oconomowoc or Waukesha. Or is it Waukesha? But rest assured, at Great Midwest Bank, we understand the local community and economy because we're a part of it. At GMB, we provide customized lending products that others just can't offer. Experience a hometown banking difference. Head to greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Attend Biz Expo May 22nd at Brookfield Conference Center. Learn how to build a legendary brand by creating raving fans from keynote speaker and author Scott Wozniak. Attend strategy seminars on company culture, business growth, AI and cybersecurity, leadership, exit planning, tax savings for business, and more. Network and connect with your peers and the region's leading product and service providers. Biz Expo is Wednesday, May 22nd. Register to attend at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Do you have a rotted wood window, foggy or broken glass, having a hard time opening your sliding door? Argo Glass and Windows can fix it all, saving the original look and your budget. Call us today and get a free estimate from Argo, where we repair first, replace at worst. Your one-stop window and door problem solver. Call us at 262-372-7110. That's 262-372-7110. Argo Glass and Windows, 262-372-7110.
As Milwaukee welcomes the Republican National Convention, we're going to need all hands on deck to put Milwaukee's best foot forward. The MKE 2024 Host Committee is looking for thousands of volunteers to help welcome guests to Milwaukee, and they need your help. To learn more, dial pound 250 on your phone and say volunteer. Again, that's pound 250, keyword volunteer. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from iHeartMedia. Paid for by the MKE 2024 Host Committee.
Hot summer night. Lightning strike. Down goes the tree, right through their bedroom wall, nearly ruining a walnut headboard, which is pretty hard wood. Fortunately, the customers were okay. But the headboard? That wasn't. Until they called us. We made that Victorian headboard better than new. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing, repair, and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MullallyFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY Finishing.com.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. I frequently speak with people who are unhappy with their landscaping and they're unsure how to turn things around. Well, here are 4 tasks that will make a remarkable improvement to dull landscaping. Number 1, thick, lush green grass. We need food and water to be healthy. Our lawn care programs and irrigation systems provide your grass with everything it needs to thrive. Number 2, pruning. Regular, technically correct pruning keeps plants strong and vibrant. Number 3, plant bed edging and a fresh layer of bark mulch. There's nothing better than the look of crisp bed edges and fresh mulch. Number 4, landscape lighting. You finally have your landscaping looking its best. A landscape lighting system lets your landscaping come alive after dark. So there you are, 4 landscaping tips that amplify the beauty of your home. Please call Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Get answers to your remodeling questions from Milwaukee Neri Home Improvement Council members on this week's Remodeling Show. To find a trusted, qualified, dependable, and local remodeling specialist, turn to Neri. Call 414-771-4071 or visit MilwaukeeNeri.org.
Hi, I'm Mike Madsen, owner of Color Wheel Painting. I know you think you have a lot of choices when it comes to hiring a painter, like your hungover nephew who is home from college, or those guys who did your neighbor's exterior. Maybe you call a big sorta professional franchise and see which of their 100 subcontractors gets randomly assigned to your project. But the truth is, when it comes to painting, there's only one logical great choice: Color Wheel Painting. Color Wheel has a small team. Despite the fact that, yes, we're on the radio, we have geek-level industry knowledge, specific processes, and outstanding products. Color Wheel has a system that from start to finish is personalized and guaranteed to make you proud of every dollar you invest in your home. We are the ones you need. Trust Color Wheel for interior painting, trim painting, wallpaper hanging, cabinet painting and refinishing, and even more. That's Color Wheel Painting. Remodelandpaint.com.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like One Hit Wonders Radio. The greatest one-hit wonders of all time.
I don't mind the sun sometimes.
Ones you definitely remember.
I smell sex and candy.
And ones that'll make you say, oh yeah. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search One Hit Wonders, and listen now, commercial-free. Free never sounded so good.
Welcome back. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Still about 19 minutes for you to enter the Spring Green Cash Contest. I don't think I can legally give you the word again. Should I be like Vicky with the stupid bell and just keep saying it and ringing the bell so you respond like the dogs that you are, salivating at the chance for $1,000? Yeah, it is very Pavlovian what she does. I admit I laugh every time she does it. It is a funny recurring bit. Former President Trump back in court today instead of campaigning in Pennsylvania ahead of that state's primary today. He spoke for about 2.5 minutes before going into the courtroom, and I have promised every day on this show that President Trump speaks, we will play his remarks in their entirety. Because, of course, Wisconsin is a critical swing state, and what this criminal case is aimed at is A, keeping him off the campaign trail in states like Wisconsin, and B, focusing on Trump's alleged criminality instead of the actual issues facing this country, like how Democrats have just been subsumed by anti-Semitic crazies. Here's former President Trump weighing in on that and more.
Big day in Pennsylvania, and we hope the people get out there and vote. It's important to vote to let them know that we're coming on November 5th, we're coming big. Today is preliminary, but still it's very important. And maybe they'll think also about a very good person who's running for the Senate in Pennsylvania, Dave McCormick. And he's doing a good job. He's working very hard, successful man, wants to put his success to the country. He'll be a very good senator. So hopefully they'll be behind Dave and get out there and vote today. So Pennsylvania, get out and vote. What's going on at the college level and the colleges, Columbia, NYU, and others, is a disgrace. And it's really on Biden. He has the wrong signal. He's got the wrong tone. He's got the wrong words. He doesn't know who he's backing. And it's a mess. And if this were me, he'd be after me. He'd be after me so much. But to try to give him a pass, what's going on is a disgrace to our country. And it's all Biden's fault, and everybody knows it. He's got no message. He's got no compassion. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't put two sentences together, frankly. He is the worst president in the history of our country. And again, what's going on is a disgrace. Now, it's interesting outside for great Americans, people that want to come down and they want to protest at the court, and they want to protest peacefully. We have more police presence here than anyone's ever seen. For blocks, you can't get near this courthouse. And yet you have nobody up at a college where you have very radical people wanting to rip the colleges down, the universities down. And that's a shame. But it all starts with Joe Biden. The signals he puts out are so bad. And I can tell you, he's no friend of Israel, that's for sure. and he's no friend of the Arab world either. You take a look at what he said. He's no friend of, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. He wants to take like a middle ground, and oftentimes that doesn't work, but it's certainly not working here. But what he's done to Israel is abandon them. And he's trying to be as nice as he can to the other side. Call it the Arab world, but that's not working either because they get him. And he's an incompetent man. Peace will never happen with a guy like this. Thank you very much.
That is former President Trump going into his criminal trial today. Another day of testimony from David Pecker. Is that one of those words that you would you gotta change it, right? Pecker, Glasscock. I'm thinking, what else would be another one? If your last name is Dick, you kind of got to change it, right? Yeah, if your name is Dick Johnson, yeah, I'd go by Richard. I'd go by Richard. If your name is Harold Balls, definitely go by Harold. Yeah, no, not the Bart Simpson, obviously fake ones, Dave. I'm telling you, David Pecker, I'm changing that one. As much as it is difficult to have an apostrophe in your name, seriously, people who don't have an apostrophe in their name don't know the pain. Your name will never be found in government websites because they spell it differently. It'll either be O'Donnell, just O-D, O apostrophe. Sometimes they can accommodate the apostrophe. Sometimes they can't. Sometimes my name will be listed as Daniel O, like O is my middle initial, and then Donald. It's my own personal hell, ladies and gentlemen. We all have crosses to bear. Some folks are dealing with cancer, with serious diseases. I am slightly inconvenienced by the apostrophe in my name. It's tough, but I will make it through. Yeah, so David Pecker is testifying. And as NPR notes, the prosecution's opening statements on Monday told the story of how they believe Pecker, Trump, and Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen conspired using a so-called catch-and-kill scheme in August of 2015 to bury negative stories that could be damaging to Trump's 2016 electoral prospects and promote articles in the tabloid that were negative about his opponents. Is any of this a crime? You don't need to know a thing about the law to know no. Despite calling it a conspiracy, despite calling it a scheme, catch and kill is a common thing for tabloids. In fact, I would argue that the mainstream media engaged in catch and kill schemes constantly during the Trump presidency to catch stories that might reflect positively on the president and kill them. How about this? The biggest catch and kill scheme in the history of the American media. The Hunter Biden laptop just a couple of weeks before the 2020 election. New York Post reported on it. Social media in cahoots with the Justice Department said, oh no, this is Russian disinformation. They killed the story and more importantly engaged in the most widespread violation of First Amendment rights when they actively, and this is at the behest of the federal government, which makes this a huge First Amendment violation, they actually censored anyone who dared share the story on their own personal Facebook or Twitter feeds. That sort of catch and kill. Very next sentence. Prosecutor Matthew Colangelo said the evidence will show that Pecker found potentially damaging info through his tabloid network and then reported back to Trump and Cohen. Yeah? So? There was one pro-Trump media outlet out of several thousand that were anti-Trump. Prosecutor Matthew Colangelo said the evidence was. Matthew Colangelo. Weird how we never get a deep background dive into Mr. Colangelo, who gave up a cushy gig as the number 3 attorney at the Department of Justice. He was third in command in Merrick Garland's Justice Department, and he resigns his position in December of 2022 to become a line prosecutor in the New York Manhattan Attorney's Office, the DA's office. Seems like a bit of a step down, right? until you consider that he was placed there specifically so he would be able to target Trump. This is the level of coordination between the Merrick Garland, Joe Biden Justice Department and these state prosecutions. You had Nathan Wade, the Loverboy special prosecutor with Fani Willis down in Georgia, meeting with Biden White House attorneys. Why? What possible reason could there be for that? Oh, yeah. He's just giving a heads up that he's going to prosecute the former president. Well, he billed Fulton County for 24 straight hours of meetings, so I'm taking a wild guess. Either he talked really, really slowly in saying he's going to prosecute the president, or they were talking about how exactly they were going to coordinate on this prosecution, maybe timing, so that all of the Trump trials are back to back to back to back, so that he's constantly in either a federal or state courthouse and not on the campaign trail during the primary season, or even more consequentially in the waning days of the election following Labor Day, so that instead of being able to talk to the American people see him not as a former president, not as somebody for whom the country was going a lot better under his direction, but rather as a criminal defendant. And don't even get me started about the weakness of this case. I am still challenging. I know there are a lot of liberal attorneys out there. In fact, I know one who listens to this show religiously. Narrow it down a little. He takes cases from the Milwaukee Public Defender's Office. I would love if any liberal attorney would come on the air and debate. I'm on 5 hours, for goodness sakes. You got no excuse that, oh, well, I just can't make your show. All right, make time. I'm on 5 hours. We'll keep a line open for you. Debate the merits of this case. Just debate it. Debate it on the merits of the case, on the law, on the constitutional separation of powers, federalism argument of this. Argue to me that a state prosecutor should essentially be allowed to prosecute federal law, even after the Justice Department and the Federal Elections Commission, the two entities that would be responsible at the federal level for prosecuting this, both said, no, there's no crime here. We can't prosecute this because there's no crime. To say nothing of the fact that the statute of limitations ran 5 years ago, because this isn't a felony case. It's a misdemeanor case, and the only reason it's a felony was because Alvin Bragg didn't arrive in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office until after the statute of limitations ran, and because he was elected on repeated promises to, quote, get Trump and revive this case that even his predecessor as Manhattan District Attorney, the equally rabid left-winger Cyrus Vance, also passed on because he said, well, it's not a state case. And just like the Justice Department, just like the FEC, there's no real underlying basis for charges here. Bragg did it anyway. I would love anybody tell me how. I have not seen anything in all of the coverage of this case over the past 3-4 weeks. Hell, since it was filed a year plus ago, I have not seen one compelling argument that this is a valid case that ever should have been brought. Dan O'Donnell coming right back after this. Whew, I need to catch my breath a little bit. Stay tuned. Back in a sec.
Conservative thought, not just talk. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
It's spring, and Mother Nature is busting out the green everywhere. Here's your chance to stuff your pockets with that same color by playing the nationwide Spring Green Cash Contest. 9 times every weekday. Listen for the keyword, enter it at newstalk1130.com, and you could win the hourly prize of $1,000.
The Spring Green Cash Contest is presented by iNet Marketing. Inflation-proof your business. iNet Marketing, delivering measurable results. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage, so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Get tickets to all Brewers games now, including a weekend showdown against the Yankees, April 26th through the 28th. Don't miss a City Connect tumbler giveaway on the 27th. Get seats at brewers.com/tickets.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Milwaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Tom Nichols with Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols.
We've been privileged to have Pam Tillman as a shareholder with us for over 15 years. She's rated as one of the top 50 lawyers in Wisconsin by Super Lawyers. If you own a closely held business and have been hit with a non-compete or other business dispute, Pam's a good choice. She's been litigating cases for over 20 years, sometimes involving amounts well into the hundreds of millions of dollars, but also smaller corporate disputes. Pam is not only comfortable and experienced in difficult and contentious litigation, but like all of us, her focus remains on what's in her client's best interest. High integrity and earned respect have been hallmarks of our firm for quite some time. We've been representing businesses here in Wisconsin for over 175 years. You may have no control over who is going to sue you, but you do have control over the attorney that defends you.
Good clients deserve good lawyers. Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols. MTFN.com.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax-advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded. Every employer wants employees who are motivated. Thinkability Wisconsin wants you to know that employees with disabilities are people who truly want to work.
They just want to be a part of a team and be a part of something and have that sense of belonging.
They want to work so much, and they just are happy to come to work.
You will find someone who will be a good fit for your organization.
Start with yes, and let Thinkability Wisconsin help you hire people with disabilities. Good for your business and for the community. Learn more at thinkabilitywi.org.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130. WISN.
Well, Biden's education secretary is weighing in on the anti-Semitism on college campuses. Unsurprisingly, he cannot they all have to both sides this. This is like very fine people on both sides all the time. They cannot just say, we condemn anti-Semitism, full stop. He posted on X today, anti-Semitic hate on college campuses is unacceptable, and I am deeply concerned by what is happening at Columbia University. Hate has no place in our schools. All education leaders must stand definitively against hate Anti-Semitism, anti-Arab, and anti-Muslim sentiment. What anti-Arab, anti-Muslim sentiment have we heard of in the last 6 months? Truly. Have you heard of any? Maybe your odd, isolated incident, and there was some discussion that maybe the killing of a 5-year-old in Michigan was motivated by anti-Semitism, but it was actually a dispute between neighbors, if memory serves. It's like 5 months ago. But pretty much everything that's going on college campuses right now is motivated by anti-Semitism. Oh, no, anti-Zionism. Do you think people know what Zionism is, Producer Dave? Because it's used as no. I am not anti-Semitic. I am anti-Zionist. Zionism is merely the belief that the Jewish people should have a homeland called Israel. It is literally, if you are a Zionist, you believe that Israel has a right to exist. That's it. That is, if you are anti-Zionist, you are literally calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. Just so we understand, the left loves to redefine terms without any warning so that they can win political arguments. But that is honest to goodness what the definition of Zionism and anti-Zionism is. Did you see the Nuggets-Lakers game yesterday? Jamal Murray hitting a huge game-winning shot over Anthony Davis, who's like 7'1". His unibrow is like 3 feet tall. That's how big this guy is. Just an incredible shot. Apparently, Nikola Jokic's brother, the superstar for the Denver Nuggets, he belted some dude in the stands. The Jokic's are not guys that I would want to mess with, by the way. Nikola is, 7'3"? Something like that. He's probably going to win his third MVP in the past 4 years. And he is just a physically intimidating dude who loves horse racing, weirdly enough. Yes, he loves chariot-style horse racing. Loves it. Bucks, of course, back in action tonight as part of a round of playoff games. Also, the Clippers and Mavericks, Timberwolves, and Suns playing this evening. The Bucks take on the Indiana Pacers. They're favored by 1.5. Giannis is out for this game again, too. They've already announced it, right? Okay, I didn't see the official announcement. I guess I just sort of assumed. If they can get scoring like they did in the first half in Game 1 from Dame Dalla, Damian Lillard, it's not going to matter if Giannis ever comes. Yes, obviously, he's one of the best players in the world. It matters whether or not he's on the court. I'm intentionally exaggerating here. My point is that if the Bucks are getting scoring from somewhere, and if they can hold a team to under 100 points, as they did with Indiana, very good offensive team. I am a big fan, by the way, of Pascal Siakam, going back to his days with the Toronto Raptors, and obviously Wisconsin's own Tyrese Halliburton. We are watching him become an NBA superstar in front of our eyes. As much as it pains me to admit as a proud Whitnall alum, Tyler Hero is no longer the best Wisconsin-born player in the NBA. It is Tyrese Halliburton. No, active player. He's going back to Michael Finley. What? No. You want to go back to Sam Oakey, too? Like, how far are we going back? Come on, man. Active player. I do love me some Tyrese Halliburton. Obviously, I root for everybody who's from Wisconsin. However, I think Halliburton is the best. Go Bucks tonight. I'm not going to say it's a must-win game because, as I've said, the Bucks are the better team. I don't care about the regular season. The NBA, more than any other league, is a playoff league. The style of basketball, you saw it in Game 1, is just totally different. Back on the Belling Show this afternoon at 3 o'clock.